Implementation Plan by Ivy Lawler. As I think about education and where it's headed, technology comes to mind. As a tech immigrant, I find myself wanting to become an expert at an app or feature before presenting it to the students. This is what we've always been taught as teachers: be prepared, so that we can know the outcome or help students if hiccup comes along. But really, as teachers, do we need to be an expert with technology or with anything for that matter? Giving up that teacher knows everything dictator role, I think, is beneficial for the students. As the Teachers as Master Learners article talks about, teachers being the master learners and students being the apprentices. I think it's a win-win. Learning along with kids and discovering knowledge together is when true learning and collaboration happens. So back to my scenario about teaching an app or a feature on the iPad to students. I have let go of the reins quite a bit and realized that when I'm not up there teaching everything step by step, the students start to teach and work with each other. They also teach me many things that I didn't previously know before. I used to feel like they would look down on me if I didn't know how to do a certain thing and say, like, "You're the teacher, why don't you know this?" But quite the contrary, they feel empowered and happy to show me new things. I feel that working together, both students and teacher, is when real learning happens. So giving up some control as a teacher, then the teacher learns, the student learns, and it gives empowerment to the students. Why is problem solving so important for our students? In Dan Pink's article, he talks about problem solving being important in education. But before someone can solve a problem, he says they need to know how to find a problem. I agree with this to a point, but many times we already know what the problem is, and we just need to figure out how to solve it. An example that he gave is, why is the traffic going so slow? Well, the problem is already known. The traffic is slow. How to solve the traffic from being slow is the real-world connection, where students can critically think about the situation. How can we engage students? I completely agree that in order for a student to truly learn something, they have to have a personal investment in it. Therefore, they will be fully engaged. Building curriculum around a student's interests is a wonderful thought, but very difficult to tackle when a teacher might have 32 students and multiple subjects to teach. I personally try my best and take students' interests to heart when giving reading and writing assignments. However, there's always curriculum to follow, especially specific reading and math adoptions that the district wants us to use. A balance of both is my goal. One example is our school's writing adoption learning headquarters. Yes, we need to follow the steps and structure with the graphic organizers and the revising and the editing and so on, as well as following the Common Core standards of what types of writing students need to be learning, such as persuasive, informational, and narrative. But where I gear it toward their interests is in the content. For example, in our class with their opinion writing, the theme is, what would the best pet be for the classroom? The students research and have to persuade me as the teacher what is the best pet for the classroom based on solid facts, not things like because a hamster is cute or because a bearded dragon is cool. This helps them work on their researching skills through collaboration, books, and technology. This brings out a real engagement and learning based on what animal they choose to research on, not what I tell them to choose, what I tell them to research. In turn, this creates a hunger for learning, not a hunger to earn external rewards. There's a big difference. In a perfect classroom, students would be able to choose what topic that interests them to research in every subject all of the time. Actually research what they want to in history or explore what they want to in science, not just invest arbitrarily, like a real scientist does, a mathematician does, or a historian does, out of real curiosity and passion. In a perfect classroom, students would show their knowledge of a subject through collaboration, presentations, and projects, never through standardized testing. As Dan Pink's article states, if you want to give real evaluations to kids, they have to be personalized, tailored to each individual, not scaled, or the idea of a one-size-fits-all. Getting away from standardized tests also helps alleviate just memorizing or quote-unquote cramming for the test. Evaluating knowledge through research, exploration, and reflection will unveil a student's true understanding of something. In a perfect classroom, differentiated learning would occur for all students. Yes, we have our cooperative learning groups and small group instruction, but that is only a piece of the puzzle. This piggybacks on the previous slide's idea about no more standardizing. A perfect example is students get clumped together in a class by age. I think it would be greatly effective if students went to different teachers throughout the day based on their academic level. Some schools already use this system, especially charters, but I would like it in all public schools as well. In a perfect classroom, all parents would be co-contributors to their child's education, and also partnership between teacher and parents. Many parents are wonderful and take an active role in their child's education. I would like all parents to know that I am their child's biggest advocate and I am not the enemy. Also, I would love if all parents worked on both the behaviors and academics that we work on in class. We would all work as a team for the same results. The results being a student who is successful. In a perfect classroom, there would be state-of-the-art technology. There would be the newest versions of iPads, computers, smartboards, and more. Although, what good is having all that new technology if you don't have a clue on how to operate them? So the ideal situation would be that all teachers have the proper training to operate and help students excel with these tools. In a fantasy world, a classroom would run smoothly with no problems. Students would be engaged and learning at every moment. Ha! Who are we kidding? But really, there are ways to make a classroom run smoother with less hiccups that will ensure greater success for the teacher and the students. Every teacher has some specific things they know they need to work on to help achieve this. I have lots and lots of goals to help my classroom be more successful. My first goal for 2016 school year is I will be starting up a classroom website using something called Bloomz, B-L-O-O-M-Z. I have found that Bloomz has everything to help communicate with parents. There's conference setup, volunteer setup, chatting for teachers and parents to communicate, and much, much more. My second goal is to learn how to delete everything off the iPads at the beginning of the year. Then sync my iPads and add apps all in one foul swoop with my teacher Mac. The last few years that I've had iPads, I've had a tech person come and do most of that. Then whenever I want to add a new app, I only know the hard way, adding it to one iPad at a time. Painstaking but true. Knowing how to do these things will definitely save me time and energy. My third goal, I want my students to each create their own iMovie. So far, my students have done a trailer with a collaborative group, but yet to do one by themselves. So that's a big goal of mine. And my fourth goal is to become competent with our district's new math adoption. It's called Everyday Math. This new adoption should help alleviate having to supplement with other materials that I've had to supplement with for the last year to target the Common Core standards. By 2016-2017 school year, I hope to be fully implementing NGSS, which is Next Generation Science Standards. For the past year, I have been part of a science grant in my district called Ideas 2.0 that is starting from the ground up with understanding the new science standards and starting to develop lessons and units. We are known as the early implementers. With being part of this, I will be one of the leaders in my district, expected to go back to my site and assist all teachers with the NGSS transition and implementation. But for right now, our first job is to just implement in our own classrooms the first few years. Another goal of mine for 2016-2017 year is just to continue having the students do more and more with the iPads. I want to add on a few new things each and every year. I will definitely keep incorporating PLNs year after year. Professional learning networks keep teachers connected to the educational world. I plan to continue using Twitter for chats and articles. I'm getting a little better with the chats. I still have a long way to go. I will definitely continue using Feedly, and I have on a weekly basis all summer since I've been introduced to it. This is a place where I found so many ideas for back to school and articles to help me with technology. Pinterest is a network I've already been using for a few years, and I just love it. It's one of my favorites. It's a forum for great art projects. I find great craft ideas and great ideas for bulletin boards and so many other things as well. So this sums up what I hope to give my students now and in the future. Interactive technology, teacher mentoring, innovation in teaching and learning, choices, and real-world connection. Here's my bibliography. I definitely used and learned a lot of information from the two articles, the Dan Pink one about how teachers can sell love of learning to students, and the WeBlogEd, Teachers as Master Learners. And the one in the middle from PBS NewsHour was a video about a lady who got Teacher of the Year and how she runs her school, not believing in tests and quizzes and really engaging the students and guiding them with their interests at heart.